Hey everybody, I'm Trubiak and welcome to Cece's Vinyl Closet. She's a 41 and her daddy still calls her baby. All the folks around Brownsville say she's crazy, 'cause she walks downtown with a suitcase in her hand, looking for a mysterious dark-haired man. Oh, whoa, girl, do I ever know where you've been. I've got the suitcase myself. Here we are, cowboys and cowgirls. Episode 14 of Cece's Vinyl Closet and Chapter 14 of the Honky Tonk Angel Bible. Today we're going to be taking a look at the first recordings of another one of my favorite honky tonk angels, the outlaw, the Texas tornado, the teenage queen, Tanya Tucker. Specifically, we're going to be looking at the albums that she released between 1972 and 1975. Are you guys ready to get a little precocious with me? So let's do this! Tanya Denise Tucker was born on October 10th, 1958 and raised in Seminole, Texas. She is an American country music singer and songwriter who had her first hit, Delta Dawn, in 1972 at the age of 13 years old. Over the succeeding decades, Tucker became one of the few child performers to mature into adulthood without losing her audience, and during the course of her career, she notched a streak of top 10 and top 40 hits, and she has had several successful albums, several Country Music Association awards and nominations. Tanya Tucker is one of the few women of country to be classified as outlaw country in the outlaw movement, which was most popular in the late 1970s. And although she's never truly stopped making music, her 2019 While I'm Living album bolstered her country legacy and reminded everyone that she was still a musical force to be reckoned with. And how? Woo! Yes, yes, yes! I have always personally been really intrigued by the life story of Tanya Tucker, and I'm familiar with that life story. She wrote a 1997 autobiography called Nickel Dreams, which of course is another one of my Bibles. It's a great book, and I was charmed by that life story. This is the story of a young girl who had dreams of becoming a superstar country singer, and her dad helped her get into the business. And for me as a kid, as a teenager myself, reading that story, I remember kind of living vicariously through the life of Tanya Tucker, imagining how cool it would have been to be singing on the Grand Ole Opry and in Nashville, even at that young age. And in this episode of Cece's Vinyl Closet, I'll be looking at the 4 albums that she released between 1972 and 1975, with a special little bonus maybe here or there. I do really think that Tanya Tucker's life story is one of those fairy tale stories of the ages, certainly one of the country and western variety. Tanya was the youngest of 4 children. Her daddy, Bo, was a heavy equipment operator, often looking for work and moving his family around. Tanya's earliest childhood was spent primarily in Willcox, Arizona, where a young Tanya attended concerts of legends like Ernest Tubb and Mel Tillis, and at the age of 8, Tanya told her daddy that she wanted to be a country singer when she grew up. Bo helped Tanya get her first breaks in the music biz, driving her to state fairs for off chances to perform. And Mel Tillis was so impressed with Tanya's voice that he gave her the chance to perform on stage. Is that not cool? Damn. Those were cool years, those early 70s. Okay, so here is where things really start revving up for Tanya Tucker's career. Eventually, she recorded a demonstration tape that gained the attention of songwriter Dolores Fuller, who sent it to producer Billy Sherrill. Billy Sherrill, hallelujah! And the rest became history. A young girl with a dream would soon go on to become a teenage country star. And I super duper love this stuff. This is the stuff that's magical in my opinion. That a child could have her tapes heard by one of the greatest producers in Nashville, and he would take a chance on said child? No. That is special. Who would not want to be that teenager? Now, you guys already know of my love of Billy Sherrill. So these particular albums that she did with him between 1972 and 74, there's 3 of them actually, they're among some of my favorite country music of all time, much less just Tanya Tucker. These records capture the brilliant countrypolitan sounds of the early 1970s, and plus, they include the amazing harmonies of the Jordanaires and the Nashville edition. Praise, oh my God! And honestly, on all 3 of these albums, you can hear that heaven shine, with the Nashville edition and the Jordanaires backing up Tanya Tucker, produced by Billy Sherrill. She was lucky that at that young age, she got the experience to work with all of these magical people, and I think she knows that she was lucky. But make no mistake, Tanya's voice is the star of these albums. It's her renditions of these songs that make them masterpieces at the end of the day. Call it husky, raw, call it mature sounding, it's all a part of the Tanya Tucker allure, especially behind mythological songs about infidelity, murder, and lots of crazy people. Her vibrato and vocal style really impress and inspire me, and it's one of a kind, her voice. And thinking about it now, one of the very things that sets Tanya Tucker apart from her counterparts, both male and female, and this is just maybe my opinion, but in spite of having this phenomenal natural voice, her talents have often taken a back seat to the public image, something that she dealt with even as young as 15. But she's one of the greatest country vocalists alive, period. Now, of course, the albums did produce some pretty big hits for Tanya Tucker. Of course, there's Delta Dawn. Delta Dawn, what's that flower you have on? Could it be a faded rose from days gone by? Delta Dawn is probably one of her biggest signature songs of all time. Another big hit from that time is What's Your Mama's Name? What's your mama's name, child? What's your mama's name? And does she ever talk about a place called New Orleans? That's another really great song of the ages. And of course, there's the Jamestown Ferry. He didn't cuss with every breath, and he had a soothing southern drawl. He made me feel like a lady through it all. These songs in itself are classics right out the gate, and these were some of her first releases off these albums. But another really big hit for Tanya Tucker would come in 1974 off of her album called Would You Lay With Me in a Field of Stone, with that same song, which was written by David Allan Coe. Would you lay with me in a field of stone if my needs were strong? Would you lay with me? That's a really great song. It would appear that many people took notice of this young girl with the unusually mature voice when she released this David Allan Coe penned track, Would You Lay With Me in a Field of Stone. Some thought that this was too provocative for a teenager to sing, and yet this would not only become another signature song of hers, but it landed her on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine, a first for any country music artist. Pretty noteworthy if you ask me. Let me put it this way. There was a time that I thought it was really cool to get on the cover of Rolling Stone, and particularly if you were a young girl in country music, when that magazine was not putting those kind of artists on the cover. Dang, that's cool. Dang, girl! But I do not like Rolling Stone magazine today. Trash. Now, Tanya Tucker didn't actually ever record with David Allan Coe, but I'm taking it upon myself to include this special nod to him because Would You Lay With Me is a song that I've loved for years. I think it's a beautiful love song. I'm not quite sure why it got such controversy back then, but whatever, that kind of makes it a cool thing in itself. It's a song, again, that I've loved since childhood. So all these years later, I think I'm finally ready to hear, who is this David Allan Coe? So I went out on eBay and I picked out a record of his so that I could give this dude a listen, because apparently David Allan Coe has legions of fans. Are you guys fans of David Allan Coe? If so, tell me what are your favorite songs by him. I appreciate Would You Lay With Me in a Field of Stone. So thank you, Mr. David Allan Coe, for that song and all the joy it's brought us, and for what it's done for Tanya Tucker's career. Wipe the blood away from my dying hands if I give myself to you. Thank you, David Allan Coe. I'm also going to throw in here a little factoid. Tanya Tucker may have only released that one song by David Allan Coe on her record, Would You Lay With Me in a Field of Stone, but I found a cool B-side track of a song called Greener Than the Grass We Laid On, which Tanya did around that same time. I snapped that up like I do all these other B-sides that I find, because I find this rare stuff so interesting to listen to. And it's another great song that Tanya did by David Allan Coe, so there's one for you. And again, Tanya, you were really a lucky girl to get to work with all of these people, and they were sure lucky to work with you. In this episode, I'd like to touch upon 3 artists that I do associate with Tanya Tucker, and I also look at this project not just as an opportunity to get really familiar with the records of my Honky Tonk Angels, but to expand my idea of what kind of music is out there, and to look into the artists or producers or people associated with these Honky Tonk Angels who also have music of their own. So please allow me to use myself and share these 3 associations with you guys. They're really fun. First, Tanya has always made it well known that one of her greatest influences was the king, Elvis Presley. Yeah, I'm all shook up. In everything from her swag to her stage costumes and posturing, you can tell that she's got the spirit of Elvis Presley in her. And that's something else that separates her from the normal pack of country and western artists of her era. Can you see Loretta, Tammy, Dolly, or even Olivia pulling this kind of thing off? Tanya is an original baby. I also just had to include my own small collection of Elvis here as a homage to Elvis Presley and to Tanya Tucker. Elvis Presley, thank you for the influence you've had on Tanya, baby, because boy, oh boy, you can see it and you can hear it, and I love it. I'm caught in a trap, I can't walk out, because I love you too much, baby. Okay, my second Tanya association would be Johnny Rodriguez. Are any of you familiar with Johnny Rodriguez? I remember reading about this guy in her autobiography when she talked about her early days in touring with Johnny Rodriguez. Plus, I found some old pics of the 2 of them together, so I tried to make sure within all of this that I looked out for his name on any of her albums, and I couldn't see it for the life of me. I might be blind, so someone please let me know if I'm wrong. So even though Tanya never actually recorded with him, she is linked to country music singer Johnny Rodriguez. And you know what? I decided it was high time for me to get familiar with this Johnny Rodriguez. So I picked up a couple of his albums, and I cannot wait to give them a listen. So I'm giving you, Johnny Rodriguez, a special shout out, and I'm letting you know that I'm coming for you soon, boy, because I'm pretty excited about the music that you might have to offer. And Tanya, you and Johnny Rodriguez should do music together. Are you listening to me, girl? Because in my books, if you're good with Tanya, you're good with me. So the third and final association that I want to make with Tanya Tucker is Mr. Kristofferson. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. And nothing, don't mean nothing, honey, if it ain't free. No, no. So Kristofferson is a retired American singer-songwriter and actor. He was also a key creative force in the outlaw music movement. I don't believe that Kris and Tanya ever recorded anything in the studio together, but I have seen pictures of them singing duets together, like Help Me Make It Through the Night, and she's done some of his work as well. On her album, Would You Lay With Me in a Field of Stone, she does a cover of Why Me Lord. And again, to know that such a young person took on a song like Why Me Lord, written by Kristofferson, one of the greatest songwriters of the ages, and she actually really pulls it off in a way that's really unbelievable. So I know that over the years these friends have performed together. So I want to thank you, Kristofferson, for the amazing country music that you've given people over the years, many of which are songs that you've sang yourself, and many which are songs sung by other people, artists like Tanya Tucker. Come and lay down by my side till the early moonlight. Praise Kristofferson. I'm really glad that I can share my love of these early Tanya Tucker recordings with you, particularly the ones that she did with Billy Sherrill. However, Tanya's sound was only just developing. So in 1975, she changed producers, and her 4th studio album was produced by Snuff Garrett. And you can really hear a transformation in Tanya's voice from the early Countrypolitan stuff to there. My sense is that because she was a young girl growing up, that it wasn't just enough for her to maybe sing a lot of those old traditional honky-tonk sounds, which are amazing, and I would almost think that maybe you would want to do things that connect more with your generation. I get the sense that this is where Tanya Tucker wanted to start changing up her sound a little bit, perhaps reaching a younger audience. I know in her book that she said that she was drawn to the music of stuff going on around that time by the Eagles. This is where Tanya Tucker started to itch for change. So do I enjoy this new and fresh sound as much as the Billy Sherrill stuff? Maybe not, but I still think that the songs on it are worth listening to, and the music that she was about to kind of go and work on into the later 70s is really cool. I salute an artist who's ready to make a bit of change, particularly in their style and their approach to music. What would we have if not some growth and evolution in music, right? Plus, this was a teenager. This was someone who was growing up before the public's eye and experimenting with their musical style at the same time. It's kind of cool in my books. Now I'll sing it to you just so we both can do that old San Antonio stroll. Well, slap my thighs and call them drumsticks. I can't believe I'm already here at the tail end of this episode. I feel like I really breezed through this stuff, but in all honesty, that is the summary of Tanya Tucker's music career between 1972 and 75. I love a lot of this music and the acts associated with her, and I'm excited to keep this train rolling when I come back next week on episode 15 to continue the music career of Tanya Tucker. And you can look forward to more sparkles, more spandex, and more fireworks and explosives, if you know what I'm talking about. This has only just begun, folks, so if you're liking this, please do me a solid. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, turn on your notifications for any updates on stuff coming out for you, and share this amongst your people. And you guys know the drill. Until next time, I wished I'd known the man a little better to turn my mama on. He must have been a heck of a man, 'cause mama was a lady, don't you know?